information session, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about where these 6 things fit in. So thing number 1 is will and focus. Where does that fit in the Law of One Tarot? Number 2, imagination and vision. Number 3, perception and perspective. Perception and perspective. Number 4, reasoning and discernment. 5, intuition, your gut feeling. And number 6 is memory. I found this guy on TikTok. I've listened to him before and I really like him. So let's listen here to Irvin Kyler on his take on the 6 interior senses, and we're going to take what he says and we're going to apply it to the loved one.
I'll say that again. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Because those are your energies are coming out. And as long as you stay maintained on that, working with those 6 characteristics that we're given in our conscious mind, the will, which is the focus, the imagination, which is your vision, your perception, which is the way that you see the world, you perceive the world, and that can be changed by new information coming in. Then there's your reasoning, your discernment. You can accept or you can reject things that are coming at you, information that's coming in. You can say, oh, no, I don't agree with that. No, I'm not with that. Oh, yes, I agree with that. Because there's something inside of you that will harmonize you with that. The next is your intuition, that things go bump in the night that gives you.
All right, so let's start it from the beginning, and I'm going to apply it where I think it fits in with the Law of One Tarot, and you please, 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 like always, this is an interaction session, so you let me know where you feel it fits in. You can go to my website right here balrajgill.ca, and I've uploaded, excuse me, I've been sick lately, that's why I haven't posted in a few days. I've uploaded the Law of One Tarot here. So let's go back to the beginning.
I'll say that again. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Because those are your energies are coming out. And as long as you stay maintained on that,
let's listen to that one more time.
I'll say that again. Speak what you seek until you see what you say.
Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Now, this isn't one of his 6, but speak in the Law of One Tarot, I believe. That's the throat chakra. Your blue ray is the significator. It's the thyroid. Okay? So speak what you seek. 1 second.
I'll say that again.
Say it again.
Speak what you seek until you see what you say.
So he's talking about manifestation. This is why language is so important, and this is why your thyroid, your throat chakra it has a huge part to do in manifestation. Language is extremely important. And in the Law of One Tarot, it is right here. It's a significator. So the significator of the mind, the archetype that we need to work with when we're talking about the thyroid, the throat chakra, the blue ray is the Hierophant for the mind. The Hierophant for the mind. Then for the body complex, for the significator, it's the Hanged Man. So you not only have to speak what you seek until you see it, you ain't gonna see it until you speak it in absolute neutrality. You can't want it too much, you can't want it too little, just whatever. It's kind of like wanting something in curiosity. Once you do that, you must let it go. Hang it up. Let it go. And the fruit, have faith in the divine order. that you are here in order to give the divine an experience. So when you speak what you seek, and then you let it go, and there's not too much emotion involved because now you've hanged your emotion, then you allow the higher sun, raw, light information to guide you to what it is that you're speaking, and you seek it, whether it's a relationship, a job, money, whatever. But now let's listen to his 6 that he talks about. They're very cool. I had a lot of fun with this today.
Because those are your energies are coming out. And as long as you stay, I'll say that again. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Because those are your energies are coming out. And as long as you stay maintained on that, working with those 6 characteristics that we're given in our conscious mind, the will, which is the focus, the imagination, which is your vision.
So will, focus, I feel, you let me know what you think, but I feel it's right here. It's the matrix. I feel like this is your will and focus. So the archetype of the matrix, which is feminine, the matrix is actually feminine. And it's interesting because the spirit complex here, the devil is feminine, but you have the mind complex, which is the magician, which seems to be masculine. Then we have the body complex of justice, and I believe this is feminine. The justice card. In the Law of One Tarot anyways. So will and focus. And this is where the 3D reality that we're in, it's to distort our focus. It's to distort our will so that we can provide for those that are in control, to be minions, which creates suffering because you're not able to really live out what the spirit complex wants to experience. So this is will and focus. I believe it's the matrix. Now, the next one that he talks about is imagination and vision. And isn't that interesting? I think this is 2D is your subconscious mind, the potentiator, your subconscious mind. And that's where the imagination lies. So I feel like the potentiator is your imagination and vision. So when we imagine, we actually imagine in the subconscious mind. We imagine into 2D. Everything is created, you see, within 2D. It becomes 3D. So like a square becomes a cube, becomes a tesseract here. Square, cube, tesseract. But it starts in the potentiator. And the subconscious mind, don't forget, we all come here with so much baggage from past lives. So much. And we've lived many, many lives. Like, imagine what your life was 1,000 years ago and the amount of fear you may still hold on just to the thought of death, because your life was always in danger 1,000 years ago. Can you imagine? You sleep and you could be eaten by animals. There were huge, like we don't even have those animals anymore. So fear is deeply ingrained, and it pops up every time because it's ingrained in the subconscious mind, in the geometry of our water. So when you imagine, and this is why visualization is so important, you begin to take that fear and you let it look at, and when I say look at, you're imprinting with your vision, because water responds to water as well. It's all alive. Everything's living. You let it see what life might be like without the fear. What life might be like in your visualization that may be of peace, harmony, joy, love. And it's okay.
I'll say that again. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. Because those are your energies are coming out. And as long as you stay maintained on that, working with those 6 characteristics that we're given in our conscious mind, the will, which is the focus, the imagination, which is your vision, your perception, which is the way that you see the world, you perceive the world, and that can be changed by new information coming in.
Where do you think that falls? I feel like it's the catalyst. 3D. You know, the reason I think it's the catalyst is because I always see her, the mind, this one right here, the Empress, I always see her as the ego until she's not. And, you know, in my personal experience, as I've opened up my perception, and I did that by understanding archetypes like the Law of One Tarot, but also my own astrology and how astrological signs, which is also archetypes, they're in here, they're in the Law of One Tarot. They control your personality until you put perspective on them. And when you're in a situation that you don't like, in order to recognize that situation as you, because it irks you, so it's giving you some suffering, or it's creating a response within you. That means it's a part of some sort of underlying belief that you have that you're unconscious of. Unconscious, I believe, also is 3D. Subconscious, okay? It's in your subconscious that you're not aware of. So what happens is, when you don't give how you feel too much regard and you begin to look at perspectives of the other person. So now this only works if you have attained self-love for yourself. So in 3D, if you become self-aware, and self-awareness begins this process of self-love. So once you've found self-love, I feel like self-love equals wisdom. And the reason I say self-love equals wisdom is because when I found self-love, I started looking at other people's stories, scenarios, situations in perspective with the Law of One archetypes. And I didn't feel sorry for them. I just felt like, okay, this is what they're going through. It wasn't a saga. They didn't trigger me. It was just like, okay, this is where this person is right now. Totally understand. Oh, okay. And there is no judgment to that. And when you release judgment here on 3D and open up perspective, that right there, my friends, you've expanded your consciousness right there. So that is why I believe that perception and perspective is a spatial thing. 3D is space. 4D right here is time. I feel like it's a spatial thing. And the reason I say that is because once you attain self-love, wisdom within you, you've already started changing the geometry and the potentiator in your subconscious mind through vision, imagination. Therefore, your perception, because the sacred geometry of fear here has changed, or anger or disgust has changed because you no longer judge, you are going to experience through the flower of life and the platonics a higher vibration. And the mind for the catalyst is the Empress. The body, I call this the wheel of chakras, or the organ wheel. It's your frequency. I really believe this is your frequency, which creates vibration, your overall vibration. And this is faith. Having faith in the spirit complex is the faith card. In modern tarot, that's the star card. But having faith that this is just an illusion. All of this coming towards me, yeah, it feels real, but I can change it. It's all a hologram, and I have complete control of this hologram through my own imagination. And in my imagination, I can use this hologram here. I can use this hologram, and I can program the hologram consciously in space, in time. Two things you have to do in order to get movement on the energy in a vision, in a visualization, in an imagination, to create the hologram, so that your sacred geometry can bring it to you in material. Two things you need. One, you need movement in your hologram. You visualize some sort of movement. Second is you need still. What do we experience here? There's duality. So dual. You need movement in your hologram. You need stillness in your hologram. Those are the two things. And the second is we experience polarity. So guess what? You need to come into your body complex here. And when you're creating the hologram through space, catalyst, time experience, what you experience is the 4D is what we experience here in 3D. So in order for your hologram that you visualize for what you want, and you've done the two things, which are movement and no movement. What is that? I just said it. I hate it when I go through these blanks. Movement and... Anyways, I just said it. But then the time, the heaviness. See, the reason you need the movement in your hologram is because the movement gives the hologram space. The reason you need stillness in the hologram is because the space that is created through the movement creates time for your hologram to come to you. So the time measures how much emotion and feeling you're putting into your hologram. That is why you need stillness. And the stillness comes from neutrality. And the neutrality, the best way to work a hologram is when you're like, oh, in curiosity, not good, not bad. I don't want it too much. I don't care, but I do care, but I don't. You need to come to it with curiosity, absolute curiosity. That is what determines how quickly, through catalyst and experience, through space, through time, through movement and stillness, that you achieve what you're visualizing here in 2D.
Then there's your reasoning, your discernment. You can accept or you can reject things that are coming at you, information that's coming in. You can say, oh, no, I don't agree with that. No, I'm not with that. Oh, yes, I agree with that. Because there's something inside of you that will harmonize you with that.
Okay, so reasoning and discernment, that's your 4D. And so this is your experience here. Mind complex, Emperor, body complex, the Strength card. Ra also calls this a Temptress. The Spirit complex is the Moon. So this reasoning and discernment, let's go back to this.
Next is your intuition. That. Oh, yes, I agree with that. Because there's something inside of you that will harmonize you with that.
So the harmonization and what it is that's inside of you, that's something that he's talking about. There's something inside of you that's going to harmonize you with that is your beliefs. The reason you have to you don't have to do shit. The reason it works to be curious about something when you want to manifest is because a lot of our beliefs that are held in our water, in our body, in the potentiator, we're not even aware of. If you have this belief of loneliness, it's a belief that, oh, you're going to be alone. And let me tell you one thing. In this potentiator, remember earlier I said that our core beliefs not only come to us in this life, we're not only programmed through our mother's interstitial fluid in the womb, and then programmed outside in this 3D world by society, our parents, all of that, but you also come because you come as a single cell. That one single cell holds all information of all lifetimes. It's water. So these beliefs you're not even going to know once you're born that you have. And the reason I'm bringing up the one of loneliness, being alone, and being alone equals death, there's a huge fear around loneliness, is because 1,000 years ago, if you were shunned away by a tribe or you were made to be alone, Matthias de Stefano talks about this. If you were made to be alone, that means you're dead. You're dead. How are you going to hunt? Often it took many. You're going to sleep alone at night. You'll get eaten up real quick. Procreate. No woman's going to be with you because you're shunned. You're outside now. Loneliness, being alone, meant death. This one core belief that many of us have, but we are so unconscious to it, but it's in our subconscious mind. 3D is also your unconscious mind. It controls all of your actions until you begin to discern it, reasoning. And you know what's so interesting that he said that? And I've always thought 4D was it's time, but I've always said that your moon card, spirit complex, is contemplation. I've always thought that. When first time I looked at the Law of One Tarot, I was like, that is contemplation, but I didn't know why. But it's men like these, TikTokers like this, that, man, they expand my knowing so much. And I'm so grateful for the Law of One Tarot because I have something to think about. When these TikTokers or YouTubers that I love, now I'm starting to listen to way more. Before, I only listened to Matthias de Stefano, and I only followed his blogs. I loved reading his blogs because I was really just trying to get to the core of the Law of One, and it helped me a lot. And I can't wait till he puts his blogs back on his site because I'm going to go right into it. But also, going out now, having an underlying understanding of the archetypes, I now enjoy listening to different TikTokers or YouTubers. And I'm like, this fits here in the Law of One Tarot. This makes so much sense. So this is why I believe that 4D experience is your reasoning and discernment.
The next is your intuition, that things go bump in the night, that gives you goosebumps. You know, you walk into a room and you feel the energies of the room and say, this is not good, you know. And it's not good if you feel. I'll say that again.
So right here, the significator is the intuition, your gut feeling. It's 5D. So the significator is that sense inside of you when you're taking a left, it says, go right, go right. And it's that inner voice that we often do not listen to. So this is the 5D, and then the 6D is your memory. It's interesting because transformation, when you flip from the experience, if you flip the Law of One Tarot in half, transformation goes right on top of the potentiator. And number 6 is memory. 6D. So what we're doing is we're releasing the stories. We're finding that vibration, the sound, resonance in our pineal. And the way we're finding is finding it is by really working and opening up the heart chakra. And what I mean is when the heart pumps blood, the blood goes through all the way down your legs. It comes up and there's a certain resonance, how it hits the aortic wall that is the universal sound. And that hit on the aortic wall creates a sound vibration through your organs, the chakras, and this also initiates the vibration of your pineal. So what you're doing in the pineal, your indigo ray transformation, you can constantly transform, because when you have like a Kundalini awakening, or when you're eating a really alkaline diet, that oxygenation in the blood, it really begins to give death to the old attachments that your body may be holding on to. It's kind of like, you know, when you go do a fast and day 4, like once for the first 3 days, especially day 2, for me day 2 and 3 were the worst. But when you're fasting, and I did a no food no water fast, no food no water, 10 days, no food no water. So when I did that, this transformation card reminds me, the mind complex of these is the Gemini. It is the Lover's card. The body complex in the Law of One Tarot is the Death card. The Spirit complex is the Judgment card, okay? So when I did that, man, did I go through pain. The first 2 to 3 days, it was so effing painful. Like I can't describe the pain. I couldn't sleep. My muscles were aching. I remember thinking, is this how people feel when they have cancer? It was unbearable, to the point I couldn't even walk upstairs. I kept getting short of breath. Remember, I hadn't eaten and I had no water. And then 3.5, something switched. Do you know what that something was? Cerebral spinal fluid. All of a sudden, I had all this energy again. I freaking felt great. The shortness of breath was gone. And it was like a rebirth of the body complex. But it was the spirit complex, because what you're doing is you're clearing out the old memories in your cells. But the old memories will only clear out depending on your frequency, on your vibration of the organs before you do the fast. I'm not saying go do a water fast. I did it because I wanted to, and I loved it, and I will do it again with people. It's very difficult to do on your own. But anyways, isn't that so cool? So let's recap. The matrix, I believe, is will focus. The potentiator in the Law of One Tarot is where you want to put your where your imagination and vision goes. The catalyst, 3D, is perception, perspective. 40, your experience, is reasoning and discernment. 5D, the throat, your thyroid, is intuition and gut. And it's so interesting that intuition and gut, look, when you flip this over, when you fold the Law of One Tarot in half from the heart chakra, when the chakras fold over, the significator, your gut, sits right on top of the catalyst. So those gut feelings, this is your solar plexus, it's your yellow ray, it's space. Your gut feeling, oh no, I said that wrong. Your throat chakra. I said that wrong. Your throat chakra, intuition and gut. Isn't that interesting? This is how it works. Your intuition and your gut, same thing. Once you're at a higher frequency. That's why gut feelings are so important, because that gut feeling also stimulates the thyroid. Then you have transformation, your third eye, which is memory. Very cool. I hope you guys, if you have any other, like, if you've got any suggestions, please teach me. I'm a learner teacher, man. Show me. I love it when people comment. We learn from each other. Love you guys so much. Bye.